Good morning, everybody, and welcome into a little bit of Chop Talk for DFS NHL, our fantasy hockey talk for the day. This is a supplementary video piece, goes into the writing that we were doing, the content that we were doing, a little slate breakdown earlier today. And if you don't know me, I'm Chapadong. I'm a coach and contributor inside DFSArmy.com. That is obviously the home and the sponsor for this web show, webcast, whatever you want to call it. So feel free to go there and take a look. Use coupon code CHOP, become a VIP. Hopefully that's what you decide to do. We offer a lot of help and coaching across the industry, have the most accessible, experienced players and coaches there to help you out, make you a better player in NHL, soccer, MMA, NASCAR, PGA, baseball's coming up. NBA is our flagship sport right now, that since NFL is winding down. And like I said, we have coaches and contributors in every single sport there to help you, there to answer your questions and make you a better player, whether you're a brand new beginner trying to learn a new sport or you're an intermediate, or advanced player. This is just the place to go. You can't beat the value. Optimizers, tools, spreadsheets, all that stuff. DFSArmy.com. Go take a look at them. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. Use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, for a 10% discount because friends don't let friends pay retail. Let's move into the information today. You can see here, Naked Wombat is a VIP inside DFS Army. Had a good lineup last night, 32 in, 130 out. That's very, very good for hockey, especially the way we build our lineups over there and the way we teach our players to structure their cash and their GPPs together to give themselves safety and upside. You'll see a little click here in the article for Ladder Up. That's a video series designed to show you that contest structure and how to build your lineup safely just like that. We'll come back to his lineup here if we have time, but I just wanted to show that and then we want to dig into a little bit of the construction of how he did that hopefully today, and what I saw and what I liked about that was one of the more solid lineups I've seen built in a long, long time, and I'll show you why here in a little bit, like I said, if we have time. Diving in today, I want to run through some statistics with you that I didn't have time to write down in the article today. I want to talk a little bit about line movement and the Vegas lines and what we track and why. You can see the over-unders. You can see the Vegas odds and the implied team totals here. And what I like to look for when I'm looking for goalies is big favorites. But today that's not necessarily the case because I think that some of these games are going to fall a little bit flat. This game, it doesn't have a line yet. I do like New Jersey here over Detroit. I'll explain to you why. When you look at the home and road records, New Jersey's 13-6 at home this year. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. It's pretty damn solid. Detroit is below 500 on the road. So you've got a weak road team going into a strong home team. I like New Jersey to win the game. I don't know how many goals they're necessarily going to score, how offensive that's going to be, because I did not see a tremendous weakness in the Detroit offensive lines or defensive pairings. I do, however, like that top line of New Jersey with Taylor Hall. And if you drop down, Stafford's a great value play. Palmieri's a great value play. If you're running a cash type lineup, you follow me, you know I like to spread my lines out in cash. And that's why I'll show you what Naked Wombat did here in a little bit. But you've got Taylor Hall on the power play 1, Stafford down here on line 2, but on the power play 1. And Palmieri down here on the 3 on the power play 1. You run down here to Vatanen and you get them all loaded up. There's 4 people across 4 lines with a defensive pair or defensive guy floating between those 3 lines as the game wears on, and they all correlate on the power play. If Detroit creates some penalty situations that New Jersey can take advantage of on the power play, then you've got yourself a lot of correlation right there in a tight space, and it gives you, if New Jersey scores 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals tonight, you've probably got access to almost every single goal they score based on how you've spread out. You do limit your upside, but that's not what we're looking for in cash. If you get lucky and you bang them all on a power play, then you do correlate. You are very unique and therefore gives you upside in some GPPs should you get lucky. That's why I like that style. Does it work very often? It works great for cash. Does it work very often in GPPs? No, but that's not what we're playing it for. If you want GPPs, you're just going to stack up this first line or the second line or whatever and just rock and roll. New Jersey, okay, just lots of value options there to really spread out. They're in a pretty good spot tonight, so I can see taking a couple of pieces out of that line. I don't know that I would stack everything up from top to bottom. But anyway, moving on to Colorado and the Leafs. I think this is a trap game tonight, and the reason I say that is very, very simple. Colorado is a very, very powerful top line scoring-wise this year. Everybody's finding that out. Everybody likes them. Their prices are going up as a result. Jonathan Bernier is also a stud goalie right now with a 13-7 record, and he's won several of his last starts. I mean, Colorado's on, what, a 9-game winning streak? That's going to end soon. And I'm not going to say it's going to end tonight because Toronto's not a great team. However, Vegas loves Toronto. The Lanch are on the road, and the Lanch are starting a back-to-back tonight that leads 3 games this week right into the All-Star break. That's 3 road games in, say, 5-6 nights that leads to some exhaustion. Whether they get off to a great start or finish poorly or vice versa, I don't really know. I know they're a fairly solid team. A lot of people are going to like them. But I will tell you, on the road, Colorado is 8-9-2. They're not a good road team. Toronto's 13-7 at home. So I can see playing some Austin Matthews or pairing him up with a couple of guys. I'm not a big fan of that play because I don't know if this game's going to – and they're saying it'd probably be a chalky game. For tournaments, I don't mind getting away from something like that, although we don't really worry too much about tournaments in NHL because there's so many choices and so many ways to switch and swap lines and stuff. You really shouldn't focus too much on it. But if you wanted to get specifically off of this top line, I can see it, and I actually would support it. I wouldn't be surprised if they scored 3 goals tonight, though, either, because that's just what they've been doing. I just think this is a little bit of a trap spot based on travel, based on All-Star break coming up, based on being on the road, based on a 9-game winning streak, running into a team that plays pretty well at home when they themselves don't play very well on the road. So that's kind of where I'm coming from there. When we drop down to Minnesota and Ottawa, Minnesota is another strong home team. I think that with the 210, well, it's gone down a little bit, but it was up to 210 with the Vegas support, Vegas favorite coming out of the Minnesota game. I like Dubnyk quite a bit. He's not my favorite goalie tonight because Ottawa can score, and lately Ottawa has been scoring their top line for sure. With Mark Stone on it, has been in a pretty solid spot. They've been producing. Minnesota's a strong defensive team. To be honest with you, when we're looking at Minnesota's offense, their defense, they're only allowing 2.8 goals, and they're lower than that at home. They're down in the 2.5, 2.6 range at home. So they do play better at home, which is great. Ottawa is allowing 3.5 goals and a little bit more than that on the road. Ottawa's not scoring so much on the road either. They're allowing more goals. They're scoring less. Minnesota scores a little bit more at home, but they allow fewer goals at home as well. It's just not a good spot for Ottawa, and it turns into a pretty good spot for Minnesota. You're not getting a great offensive team, but you're getting a team in a great spot. And if you look at their top line, Zucker and Granlund, if Granlund plays tonight, this is an affordable top-line stack. I don't know that I would jump down and play any of the other guys. I would pair them with Spurgeon and just run that first line with Spurgeon and call it a day. And you're in as good a spot as you're going to find for hockey. You've got a softer Ottawa team coming in, and you've got a strong Minnesota team at home that is set to score a lot of goals with Vegas support, and they're affordable. It's just something you look for when we're talking about hockey. When you go over to Tampa Bay and Chicago, that game's interesting because Vasilevsky's been just a leaky, it's like the dam broke on this guy. He's given up 23 goals in his last 5 games. I mean, 4 and 4 and 5 at a clip. And the dude, it's like he changed his pads or he's going out there without pads or something. Something's wrong. Can Chicago take advantage of it? I don't know. They should be able to. Looks like Vegas thinks they will. If I was going to do something like that, I'd look at Kane and Schmaltz paired together with Osterley. Osterley's still cheap. If you're looking for lower ownership in tournaments, you might do a Duncan Keith. The top line's not terrible either. It's affordable. With Saad, you get access to Taves. And there's a lot of different ways to go. Hinnistro has been dropped down to that third line, which I'm not a great big fan of. I think Schmaltz, Hartman, and Osterley is the play here if you want to attack this game. I don't know that I will. Just me. When I scroll down a little bit further, though, the offense here at Tampa Bay is going to get a lot of people loving Kucherov and Stamkos and these guys and the second line, but honestly, they haven't been scoring lately. So going on the road into Chicago, it's just not a favorite spot for me to target them. My favorite spot to target tonight's Calgary at Buffalo, and the reason why, first of all, Mike Smith's in a smash spot. Buffalo sucks on the road. If I give you their numbers, First of all, Buffalo's not good at home or on the road, so I don't really care what people say. They're a little worse on the road, but they're 6-12 at home, so it's not like they're great. They're 5-14 on the road, and Calgary's a better road team than a home team. They're a 500 team at home, but Buffalo's so bad on the road that it puts Calgary in a great spot, if that makes sense. And that puts Mike Smith in the best spot to win the game tonight. Dubnyk probably second. And then you come down here to their top line, who is scoring goals like crazy, Monahan, Gaudreau, and Ferland. And then Tkachuk on the 2 is just balls on fire right now. You take Tkachuk with the power play 1, load him up with Gaudreau, maybe not Monahan, but Gaudreau, Ferland, Tkachuk, there's 3 forwards, get you 2 lines of exposure, get you a little bit of power play 2, get you an overlap on the power play 1. So it's a perfect cash stack. And then you drop down here, Dougie Hamilton's running hotter than Mark Giordano. Look at Hamilton's numbers, 12, 33, 16, 20, 16, 18. That's great. That's absolutely great for power play 2 exposure and 5K. If I look at 1,000 more, almost 800 more in Giordano, I'm seeing 1, 3, 1. This is his hot streak's over. So I'd be focused on Hamilton. Therefore, I need a little bit of correlation. I get the first defensive pairing, which is great. So I've got a lot of options for this line here, exposure to this line. First, top defensive pairs also run with the 2s. They run with the 3s. So if anybody out of here gets hot, that top pair is going to be getting 20, 25 minutes of ice time tonight. So they're going to be out there. But you get a little bit of the power play 2, which loads you up with Ferland if you want to run him hot for the cheapest play of the 5 or 6 guys you would be using. And then you take that top pairing and load Ferland in here on the top pair with Gaudreau, and you drop him down and pick up Tkachuk, like I said, for that second line of exposure and overlapping on the power play 1. You've really you run those 4 guys, you've spread yourself out. Now, if you could run those 4 guys with the 3 guys from Minnesota, I think you're in a great spot. I don't know that you can afford to do that because Gaudreau's expensive. And should Granlund play tonight, he's expensive too, and that's probably costing a little bit too much. So thinking what I was thinking before about needing deep value, I immediately went to Arizona tonight at home. Look at this, 6.5 over-under. Vegas loves this game. There's no favorite here. The minus 120 is not strong. I wouldn't touch either one of these goalies with a 10-foot pole. Arizona plays better at home. They're a little bit sneaky. New York scores, but and Arizona's bad. New York scores, but New York also gives up the league's worst amount of goals. It's sad what they've given up. Defensively, it's like they absolutely don't give 2 shits about defense at all. Go ahead, score. We'll go down the other end and score on you. They're kind of like the 1999 St. Louis Rams. I'm a St. Louis guy. On the road, New York is 11-13. Why they're favored tonight, I don't know. Probably because the home record of Arizona is 5-14. So Arizona doesn't win games either. They're much like Buffalo. You can target against them. It's another way to run. If you wanted to run New York Islanders, and then pair them up with Calgary, you've got yourself targeting the 2 weakest defenses in the league with 2 of the stronger offenses. It's a little bit risky because New York's on the road. But, it's certainly not the worst play. I was looking in here for value plays on the Arizona side, and honestly, outside of Clayton Keller and Chychrun down here, I couldn't really find a ton because these guys are just simply not producing. Let me show you what I mean. When I go to my little stats page here and I like to run last 4 weeks, what I do is I click on the team that I want to see. I'll close all these guys off sometimes, and I'll sort by fantasy points and reorder those. Who on Arizona is doing shit? Well, Chychrun. In a 2-game sample, Ronaldo, don't trust him. Fisher, for 4,600, 10K, I can find 10 points elsewhere. Perlini, that's good for 3,500. But when I look back at Perlini, this top line runs on the second power play unit. The first line's spread out with Keller and, Domi and Fisher. So I'm kind of looking, Keller, okay, 5K, 10 points, You all got, None of this stuff excites me. None of these guys are producing. The only one really worth taking out of this is Chychrun, and he's starting to get a little expensive. He's earning you an average of 3x, which is fine for hockey. That's fine, but I can't see him go up in price a whole lot more and still love him. Right now, great one-off. If I wanted to see what to combat that with, I open up the Islanders, resort again by fantasy points, and now I've got this. I know this is old when I scroll down through Barzal. You know, I mean, he's still producing, but the monster games are gone, so he's probably starting to cool off. Whatever. Tavares might be heating up, but he's always up here at the top. Beauvillier. That's your value guy. 34, okay, had 8 points you can live with. 16, 36, 34, 15 is great. 4 of the last 6 games. That's your hot guy. Would you run him with Barzal? Maybe. You know, if you think the hot streak's going to continue, you might throw Eberle out there with him. Eberle's a little pricey for what he's producing. Beauvillier is a one-off. Beauvillier, Chychrun, be gone. Get out of this game. Focus on, maybe that's your deep value to get you Calgary and Minnesota stacked up. Or to get you, Calgary and Chicago, Minnesota and Chicago. Maybe the top line in New Jersey or mix and match in New Jersey. Something like that. Those are the places you're going to be tonight. Those are the places you're going to go. Okay? So, once again, Coach Contributor inside DFSArmy.com. Don't click away. Use coupon code CHOP, CHOP, for that 10% discount. Let's dive into that winning lineup here really, really quick. And let's see why we like it. Carlson, Marchessault. Vegas won. Smash spot last night. Came through? Okay. Thornton, Vlasic. San Jose exposure. Was in a good spot. Edler, one off. Nash, hot. One off. Correlated again, Laine and Perreault. Perreault's hot. This is a beautiful lineup. I wish I'd have seen it myself. I had the balls to run Hellebuck, but I didn't really have the balls. He's a little up and down. I don't think I'd have run him in cash. But for GPPs, he's fine because you saw what he did last night. You shut him out. 36 to 42 points, whatever the hell it ended up being after the shutout points were awarded. So it really hit everywhere. But spread out. It was safe. This line was safe. Didn't take 3 guys or 4 guys off of one team and really tighten that focus up and try to go boom or bust style. Instead, spread out. Grab pieces of, Vegas in a good spot. San Jose in an okay spot. Grab pieces of Winnipeg. Always a threat to score some points. And then one off it with a couple of hot guys and a consistent guy. This was a cash-safe lineup, and it exploded. And it ended up doing very, very well. 5th place out of 109 is outstanding. This isn't quite deep enough in the saucer pass to really return a ton of money, but he threw 3 lineups in there on it. How do you beat that? The return is outstanding. I'd like to see the second piece of this and see where, the 110 out of the 5. So put it in a big 5-man. That's what happened. That's where the money came from. And boom, top 20% lineup wins, the 5-man quite often with a little bit of variance. But if you build a top 20% lineup, you're min cashing in these tournaments, but you're winning these 5 ways. That's how you do it, guys. That's how you leverage. That's why I need you to go to the website and search for the ladder strategy under any of our strategy tabs. You'll find the ladder strategy. Go there, learn contest selection, learn why we do what we do. This is textbook. Textbook. And it's how you very safely throw $30 at a slate and leverage it into 100 or more. Don't throw $30 and put 10 of them in some dollar GPP thinking you're going to make $1,000. It's not going to happen. You do it safely and then take a shot. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple strategy. It works. We find that inside DFS Army. I will coach you. I will talk to you till I'm blue in the face about the ladder lineup, and any one of our DFS Army hats that you see out on Twitter or on Fanduel or DraftKings will all tell you the same thing. I will talk to you till I'm blue in the face about the ladder. I talk in these videos about the ladder. I try to write it up and show you guys. I can't help you anymore unless you want to become a VIP and you jump inside. So DFSArmy.com. Follow the link in description in the tab. Follow the link out on Twitter. Follow me, like, subscribe to these videos. I would love to help you become a better player. So we're helping these guys become better players constantly. Jump inside. Let us help you become a better player. Don't do it on your own, and don't rely on those crappy lineup sellers that honestly are just there to take money and aren't giving anything back to the community. Come put your money where your mouth is, or let me put my money where my mouth is, and become a VIP at DFSArmy.com. I'm Chapadong. Guys, take care. We'll see you tomorrow.